Hey gamers, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about DragonHeir Silent Gods. I have some tips for you regarding characters that I feel that you really should build that's going to definitely help you in the game, in the dungeons, and they are all rare. So let's go ahead and jump into it. But first, before we do, if you're just now finding this channel and you want to stay up to date with this and other games, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out. All right, and welcome back. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, I said I had a bunch of rares for you, and I do, but I do want to add an epic to that, and that's going to be Horus. Horus is a character that you get on day 3 for free, and he's a great tank. He's a self-healing tank, so his captain ability here increases max HP by 24% in all battles. That's always good. He's got a shield, which is great. Does some fire damage. Attack penalty reduces attack by 50%. That is awesome. His ultimate here gives taunting, fire damage, damage reduction, and hit recovery. This is where he recovers some HP whenever he's being attacked. So again, that self-healing mechanic does very well, especially when you stack him with the appropriate gear. He stands up for quite a while. So great investment for sure. Now, when we talk about rares, my favorite of all so far is Usha. Usha is great. She's high damage. She does a great job. And I use her as a damaging off tank. So I put her next to my main tank, which is Isolde. Isolde gives defense to adjacent allies. So that helps her stay alive and really do some damage. So what I like about her so much, her second basic attack will do double damage when an enemy is under frost. And that's where her ultimate comes into play. It inflicts 100% chance of inflicting frost. So then you're going to do quite a bit of damage. You also, with this ability here, she got a shield. So she gives herself a shield. And she also has attack speed up for 10 seconds. So she's awesome. Definitely worth the investment. So definitely do that. Now, a little bit later into the game, not too deep, you're going to have an opportunity to open a chest that will allow you to select any rare in the game. If you don't have her, I definitely would select her. If you already have her, my next suggestion would be Sigrid. Sigrid is absolutely awesome. So if you take a look at her abilities here, her captain abilities here increases accuracy, which is always good. This ability right here, when an enemy inflicted with debuff dies, a debuff dies, it gives her 25% ultimate energy, which is awesome because as she's debuffing and other characters in your team are debuffing the enemy and they die, she's constantly getting her ultimate energy refilled. So she's pulling off her ultimates quite a bit. And this is what it does here. It does poison damage, which is great. Healing prohibition, which is awesome and comes in handy in quite a few battles. And then attack penalty too as well. That reduce attack by 50%, which is awesome. So definitely worth it. Worth the investment there. Hexandra is next. You get for free. She's one of the best healers in the game, in my opinion. There are some other healers. I just don't have them unlocked. I know that there's some other good ones. But right off the bat, giving us a good healer, I think is good. And she's definitely worth it. So I think everybody has her already and understands the benefit of her. So she's definitely worth it. The next one here, this guy, Fitz, is definitely much more handy than I originally thought he was going to be. And he definitely helps me out in those battles where my whole team gets debuffed, right? Like Flame Domain at the end, right? So what works out so well is this one right here. Transfers debuffs on all allies within range to the hero, so to Fitz, and heals the hero. Each transfer grants additional healing. And why debuff it? I've seen him have like 20 debuffs on him. This right here, the more debuffs inflicted, the less damage is taken for him. So it definitely helps my team, especially at the end of the Flame Domain, where you just get a lot of those debuffs, and it just does a lot of damage, especially when her ultimate at the end of the Flame Domain ignites all those debuffs and just does massive AoE damage. So Fitz is definitely worth it. Now, so far, I have not found a reason to take him beyond level 70 yet, but we may. So I think I'm going to save some resources on that. Also, this ability here, so randomly dispels one debuff from the hero and gains defense up. So he gives himself a defense up. You can see he is defense as well. So I do have him next to my tank. Again, next to Isolde. I love Isolde as a tank. Her giving defense to allies around her adds to his defense, which is good. All right. And the next one, the last one I'm going to talk about, oh, actually, there's one more after this because I don't have him built yet. But I like Eli. Eli's good. Main thing here is he's poison. And at the beginning of the game, they really start you off wanting to put into the flame and poison team. So you got to keep the elements together as best as you can so you can get the bonus, the affinity bonus. So I do like him. I also like that he has an AoE. So this one here, shoot 3 arrows in a designated direction, so you can see what it looks like here. These AoE teams are really good for clearing Goblin. Definitely worth doing. Usha's got some AoE, so that definitely helps as well. So so does Sigrid. Sigrid, not really too big on AoE, but she does shoot the 2 toxic arrows, so she does hit more than one. But it's come in handy. It's helped me get through Goblin Lair too. So Eli, I think, is good. The other one I don't have built yet that I think is worth it, and I saw somebody else use him, is Grover. And I think the thing about Grover is this one right here, where he's stealing a random buff from his enemy, right? Flashes to an enemy and launches 2 attacks, dealing lightning damage, and lightning damage each, and stealing a random buff from them each time. So, 100% chance of stealing a buff. That definitely comes in handy for these boss battles where they're buffing themselves. So I wonder how well he'll work with Fitz in some battles, because Fitz is taking debuffs off your team. Grover here is taking buffs from the enemy. So I think it's pretty cool, actually. So he's definitely worth it as well, in my opinion. And he's the next rare that I'm going to be building. All right, so that is what I had for you. Those are the rares that I feel are very, very good to build, and you won't regret using the resources, because resources in this game are definitely not abundant, so you want to make sure you spend them wisely. And then I've already talked about 2 epics that I think are amazing. You got Horus and Isolde. Definitely worth it. All right, everybody, that is what I had for you. Very curious, what are your thoughts? Who are your favorite rares to build, and how are you enjoying the game? All right, as always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.